Hello everyone, this is Coach Sean, and we have finished reviewing the hitting video from early December, and we're now just putting together your hitting lessons. There's some things that are common amongst a lot of our hitters that the videotape is showing us, and I just wanted to start by reviewing some of these things so that everybody can become familiar with them, what they are, how they affect your swing, what you can do to correct it, practice drills, etc. What I'd like everyone to do after you read these things is stop your video, go online, go to our website, saintsbaseball.club. Once you're at the website, saintsbaseball.club, I would like you to go to the features page, and I'd like you to watch the following videos. The first one I would like you to watch is Fix Your Flat Swing, Master the Snap Drill. I believe this drill is essential in any hitter's swing. If you do not move your hands, turn the triangle, snap the bat rearward, and pull your hands through a swing, you're not going to have your best swing. You're not going to be able to attack the balls on the corners and things of that nature. A flat swing is going to have trouble hitting outside and inside pitches. What we are trying to build with our hitters is a complete hitter, somebody with no holes in their swing that can attack all the balls in the zone and drive the ball from gap to gap at your 18 to 22 degree upward plane, thusly making each hitter the best they can be. So again, if you do not snap your bat correctly, this drill is perfect for slowing it down, duplicating it, mimicking the process, and is something that everybody should be able to do or know about so that they can work on getting there in the future. So again, I'd like you to start by watching those two videos. I think 3 videos associated to that part of the drill. The second thing I'd like you to watch is casting your hands in the swing. It's the second video on the page. Casting your hands is something that most of our hitters are doing. A large number of them anyway are doing. And casting the bat, simply put, will flatten your swing. Okay, it's the incorrect use of your hands in the swing that flattens your plane of your bat, which is going to make you, again, have difficulty hitting inside and outside pitches. It's going to give you holes in your swing, and this is a great video series so that you can understand what it is, how you're doing it, and again, ways to fix it. So that's very important. Thirdly, loose hands drill. It's lower down on the page, and I have a feeling from watching these videos that not everybody's holding their bats correctly. The bat should be held very loosely, and every one of our players should investigate using a grip aid, whether it's pine tar or the tacky waxy substances, something of that nature. But if you look at a major league on deck circle, there's probably 4 or 5 grip aids that the batters are using every at bat before they go to bat in most cases. And on the Saints team, we've got literally 1 or 2 people using pine tar, and not on a regular basis. So again, I would like all the players to understand how to grip a bat, the best way to grip a bat, why they're gripping it that way, and how it contrasts with what they're doing. And I'd like them to try to mimic and copy the folks in these hand drills so that they can, again, feel the difference in the swing with loose hands. So we've got that video. We've got the Justin Turner's loose hands bat grip, which all that does is show his loose grip preload. Again, very important for the kids to get that, let it sink in, and see if they can change their grip to get their hands and wrists looser in the swing. So go ahead and go watch those and then come on back to your lesson. Okay, now that you've done that, let's talk a little bit about what we're trying to achieve here. In general, a hitter that is approaching 15 years old, or by the time he reaches 16, he should be very proficient at covering the zone, meaning having a swing that will produce a line drive anywhere from gap to gap at anywhere from 16 to 22 degree upward trajectory. A player should be able to hit a pitch in that direction that is anywhere in the zone. That is a batting practice or soft toss pitch or off a tee. Okay, yes, it's a different thing when you put a live pitcher in there throwing top speed for your age group, but by age 15, 16 at the latest, you should be very well accomplished with the quick short swing that covers the whole zone, that puts the ball into the right place. So what we're trying to do is build that with each player, and what we're seeing from just a few flaws, not a lot of stuff needs to be cleaned up with a lot of our hitters, but this snap drill and how you initiate the swing and casting the hands are the two biggest things we need to fix so that our kids can get on the trajectory of being able to hit a ball in the strike zone where they need and want to hit it. So our goal is trying to get you all in that direction. So that's what we're working on here. That's what we're trying to accomplish. So the first thing I want to show you here is this hitter performing the snap drill. And let's just roll it so you can see it. Okay, let's play it live. You see how he does it nice and slow, making sure he's keeping everything in its right position with the right sequence. And this drill right here, we're going to call the snap drill. And I believe every one of our hitters on our team needs to practice this a lot on a regular basis. Even after you master it, you need to keep doing it just to make sure it stays regular and an easy feeling for you. And let's take a look at some of the breakdown on this thing here. So what you're trying to achieve is more of a horizontal or downward swing. As you can see at the point of contact, so to speak, the angle of his bat. Okay. That angle right there is what you're trying to achieve on most pitches, not an outside and high pitch, for example, but for a lot of the pitches on the plate, that's the angle you're trying to achieve, okay? So, of course, he did that and achieved that angle by starting with a good triangle with this 90 degrees. He's got a proper hand grip. Okay, look at that really close. And as you move it forward here, he's snapping the bat rearward. Snapping the bat rearward. And one important thing in being able to do that, which is also part of the Snapdill teachings, is this right here. The right forearm for a right-hander, left forearm for a left-hander. This degree should always be close to 90 degrees at all times until you get into the power V, or the tail end of your swing. So as you watch that angle through the swing, you can see he's kept it more or less at contact right there. Okay? So the relationship of the forearm to the bat should always be 90 degrees. When you start the swing, the first movement here, there's his go right there. His triangle starts to turn, his bat comes rearward, his forearm and bat are at 90 degrees, and he simply maintains that posture through the swing. And you can see there he really starts to get his left elbow moving forward and around and up, and starts plunging his left shoulder rearward. Okay? So as you watch this here, see how far that left shoulder or left elbow is going to maintain his 90 degrees. Now he's essentially turned his triangle all the way, and it's facing the pitcher. Okay? If you do not, which a lot of our hitters don't, if you do not turn that elbow up and out, that elbow will stop right where it's at. Okay? If your elbow stops in here, which a lot of our players' elbows do, if you're stopping here, the only place for the arms and hands to then go, the forearms and the hands, is out and around that elbow. Okay? So these are then going to come outward. Okay? That would be his arm extended right there, so to speak. If he stops the elbow, this hand has nowhere to go but out and around the elbow. Okay? Which will make you cast your bat, which will give you a flatter swing plane and make it tough to reach inside pitches and outside pitches on a regular basis. So again, this snap drill is something everybody should grab a wiffle ball bat, stand in front of a mirror, practice this methodically, slowly, until you get it and it's comfortable. And once it's comfortable, you should continue to do it on a regular basis. Okay? So let's flip this for our left-handers. Let them take a look. Okay, this drill is real easy to practice as well. What you do is you get in the batter's box with a tee, you get your feet lined up, you take and you measure the distance from the hands to the sweet spot of your bat, and you get in this position, put the bat near the ball, you recreate this whole position right here, and then you simply back it up to your load and you slowly proceed between the 2 points until you can do it quickly and correctly. Okay, so I want everybody to work on that. I want you to do it at home. I want you to do it in the cages, at practice. I really want everybody to concentrate on gaining what it feels like to start your swing like this. Very important. Okay, here's another version of the snap drill. It should also be practiced with one hand. This is the portion of the drill where you're concentrating on a 90-degree or a perpendicular angle, 90 degrees from the bat to your left elbow or your forearm or your right forearm if you're right-handed. Let's watch this gentleman demonstrate the drill. So along with the other version of this, everybody should practice this on a regular basis. You should get it to feel as comfortable as possible, and some of the things to remind you of here is you can see how the elbow and everything starts to slot and everything works together simultaneously. The same thing with the two-hand snap drill, okay? So now we've got this flipped for right-handed players to see what it looks like. Okay, so again, the ability to do this and master these drills and get a good feel for handling the bat like these instructors are. Again, bat speed controls how far and hard we hit the ball. So you want to gain as much bat speed as possible, and you can see the whip from laying it down like this is how you're going to gain more bat speed, okay? That's how early bat speed is gained. The second thing it's going to do for you, it's going to get the bat on the right path, which is going to help you hit more balls where you want to hit them. So keep all that in mind as you're practicing this drill. And the third way to practice the snap drill is with a PVC pipe. Okay, and here is the third way to practice the snap drill, and this is with the PVC pipe that was provided to you by Chris, or this could be with a broomstick, something of that nature. And let's just watch this gentleman. You can see how he moves everything simultaneously. Everything's firing at once. The snapping of the hands, the slotting of the right elbow, the upward movement of the left shoulder and elbow to turn the triangle, and bam. Okay, now again, this is exaggerated. You're not going to exactly swing this way every time, but it does show, and by exaggerating, get everything moving in the right direction on the right path. So let's flip it for our left-handers. Okay, so there are the 3 ways to practice the snap drill, and I highly suggest everybody masters these drills. Get them looking just the way these instructors do in the video. Okay? So here we have Justin Turner loaded in here, and I want to take a quick look at the ending of his swing so that we have contrast for later when we get into the individual videos. But you can see he's 3/4 of the way through his swing here, and if we draw a line right here, this line indicates what a lot of our players are doing that are casting their hands. If you cast your hands, what that's going to do, it's going to stop your elbows in this area right here of the swing. It's not going to allow you to get to this position. Okay? So again, take a quick look at that and then parlay that into your swing and see what the differences are. But if you do stop your elbows and cast the bat, that's what's going to give you the rotational flatter swing. So here is Aaron Judge, and let's look at his full swing. Again, look at the same points. As he's 3/4 the way through his swing here, before contact. You'll see that he maintains his 90-degree relationship with his elbows and triangle. You'll see here that his elbow is way up by his shoulder. His shoulder is moving rearward. And it appears he's got a ball on a pretty good trajectory, and with his bat speed, I'm assuming that's a home run or close to it, right there. He's got a perpendicular relationship here with the bat and the flight of the ball. He pulled his hands inside nicely, and he got some nice results on this swing. So if we look at the front of the swing here, if you look at the hands, and the elbows, you will see that all that stuff moves simultaneously. You will also see his left elbow simply goes upward, like so. So let's go ahead and get into the individual lessons, and we'll discuss some of this stuff in further depth as we have you on the screen here. Okay, Kyle, here is your hitting lesson. Hopefully you've watched the prerequisite videos that I listed before. If you haven't, please go back and do that, because that's going to be very important in you understanding your lesson as well as you can. But at the end of your video lesson, I'm going to attach your raw hitting video, and when you watch that, I want you to pay very close attention to these topics that we've talked about throughout your lesson. But most importantly, I want you to see pitch location versus where you hit it and whether it's flush or not. So I want you to pay close attention to those things when you're your videos, so that you can learn and understand about your swing and what your results are at this point in the ball game. So let's move on to your action plan. Okay, so here is your action plan that I have built for you based on watching your video. I highly suggest to any ball player to get your own action plan that will help you maintain a path of where you're going in the big picture of building a swing. If you have knowledge of what you're doing and you put that knowledge up against elite swingers, and then gather the opinion of other coaches and hitting instructors throughout the game, that's going to put into your head a clear picture of where you need to go. You should self-evaluate your swing often, as much as you can. The more you self-evaluate and internalize what you're doing, compare that to what others are doing and teaching, that's how you're going to progress as a hitter in this game. Every time you step in a cage, you should have a game plan and be working on something. Major League Baseball players that already hit 320 and hit 30 bombs a year, they don't stop. They do not stop trying to improve. Okay, so I just want to make that point to you clearly to you, is it's something you have to stay on top of and have a purpose every time you practice baseball. So this is, again, my action plan based on what I've seen, but run it up the flagpole as many places and with as many people as you can. Get cemented in your own head your action plan, whether it's the same as this or different from this, or somebody's added some things, whatever it may be. You should set out to seek that knowledge, gain yourself an action plan, and go to town. So the first item I have on your action plan is mastering the snap drill and the laser drill. Okay? The snap drill is going to teach you how to initially move your hands, elbows, and body in the swing. Your swing, and I'm assuming you already know this, is highly rotational on a horizontal plane. And I'll show you here, just this clip behind you, you can see just how you set up and hold the bat and initially move the bat. It just sets you up for a horizontal swing, a flat swing, okay? The one thing that would improve your hitting the most, if you did nothing else, is mastering the snap drill. And then a little tidbit about the laser drill. Your laser is slicing the ball on a more horizontal plane versus a vertical plane, okay? And it goes hand in hand with the snap drill. It's just another checkpoint as you're evaluating how you're swinging. But the snap drill and the laser drill is something that every player in the world has to improve upon. And that's the same with our team. You know, a majority of our guys do not have the snap drill down to a science, and they happen to be players that cast their hands and become horizontal. So I can't stress enough to all of our players how important it is to slowly and methodically and inch by inch in your swing practice and get better and master the snap drill. Yes, it may be uncomfortable. Yes, it's going to feel different than what you're used to, but it's worth it to put the time in to get it. So I just want to make that very, very clear to you as we get started here. If you did nothing else but mastered that, you're going to be a better hitter, hands down, no doubt about it. Okay, number 2 on the list I have here is casting the hands, casting the bat, and what that is, how it affects your swing, and studying wherever you can gain this information, wherever you can find it. I suggest YouTube. I also suggest talking to various hitting instructors, you know, Alexander and Steven from Diamond Sports, all of the Saints coaches. I highly suggest studying this topic and grasping what it is. But another level past that is in general, and there's great videos on our website under the hitting category and some on the features page that evaluate hitters before they've studied a push versus pull swing and after they've studied and mastered a push versus a pull swing. And the results you're going to get if you can stop casting and master the snap drill and maintaining the 90 in your swing is you're going to get more bat speed. Your bat's going to be on path, and you're going to have better contact and more consistent contact. Okay? So again, casting your hands and studying push versus pull swing is something I highly recommend you delve into head first and get a good grasp on that and where you need to go on that topic. Thirdly, I'll show you your kite tail later on, and I'll explain it in more depth on your video. But I still strongly believe that your grip right before you get to the power V and sometimes sooner is affecting the rollover and the plane of your bat because of the rollover. And I highly believe, and I may be wrong, that's why I suggest you talk to as many people as you can about these things. But I believe that's highly affecting your swing and making your swing even that much more flat or on a horizontal plane. So again, I'll touch that in the videos, but not just does it affect your swing towards the power V in the end of it, I believe your grip affects your ability to perform the snap drill or the laying back of the bat in the proper direction as well. So, and I will try to demonstrate that on video to help you understand what I'm talking about as well. Number 4, your load is a little bit devoid of shoulder stretch, right rear shoulder stretch, or stretching the rubber band between your left hip and your right shoulder. You move backwards, but you don't rotate the right rear shoulder rearward to gain stretch. You just kind of go backwards and move your hands backwards. So all accomplished elite hitters either gain that stretch in the load or by when they walk away from their hands, so to speak, or they send their foot forward. So, or they, they start to turn their bottom half and they leave their upper half where it's at. That's another way to gain that proper stretch. There's different ways to do it and different hitters do it differently, but they all do it to a certain degree. And I'm going to show you in detail what I'm talking about there so you can get an idea of that. Turning the triangle and maintaining the 90, that's all part of the snap drill, but I just want to highlight that as being very, very important. If you watch all the elite hitters, they all turn the triangle and pull. Some come out of the triangle sooner, and that also depends on the pitch you're going after. On an inside pitch, you're going to come out of your 90 sooner. On an outside pitch, you're going to come out of your 90 sooner. But in essence, they all hold it as long as they can until they get into the full stretch and the power V. So I'd really like you to just practice slowly the 90 degree and maintaining the 90 in the triangle throughout your swing as long as you can. Even if you exaggerate it in slow motion or with dry swings, if you exaggerate it when you get in the box and you got a ball coming at you, you're not going to do it as you practice it. But if you exaggerate it during practice, it'll make you better at doing it when you got a ball coming at you. So that is number 5. Number 6, I'm going to show you your lower half and your feet and your legs and your knees and give you an idea of some of these things I'm talking about. But we have a few guys on the team that like to start with their left foot behind or more open than their right foot, just like Nelson Cruz does it. And Nelson Cruz from 2010 to today has the most home runs in baseball. He's a good average hitter, a good power hitter. He's a good clutch hitter. He hits well with men on base. He's just he's a poster child of what a perfect hitter is. He does this, so I don't really take issue with people that do it. But the common thing that youth hitters do is that movement affects other things in your swing in a negative manner, okay? So I'm going to show you some pictures of how Nelson does it and what it affects with him versus how it affects you, and you'll get an idea what I'm talking about, and you can maybe change the way you're doing that a little bit. But it's something I want you to be aware of. So it does affect at times the foot position and how you begin your swing and the moves that you make. So with that said, that's your action plan. Again, I highly suggest you run this video up the flagpole and talk to as many people as you can and come up with your own action plan, whether it's different from mine or not, no big deal. Just find yourself the things that you need to be working on consistently and be aware of them while you're practicing. So let's get into your video. Okay, so here we have you with the down the line view offering at a pitch that's just a little bit outside of center and looks to be right around your waist, upper thighs, pretty close to a middle pitch. And as you can see here, it appears that you've probably grounded out to the third baseman. Maybe it was through him in the 6 hole or down the line, who knows. But again, it's a pitch that's a little bit outside and you're pulling it or rolling over it and putting it on the ground. So let's take a look at some of the things that have affected this swing, okay? So actually, let's roll the swing for you so that you can see everything in slow motion and just absorb this. Okay, so let's start with the position of your bat. So here we are. This is what I like to call the ready position. This is before you load. You've got your balance, you're sitting in the box, you're waiting for the pitcher's action so that you can load and swing. Then you go to load. And then you start bringing your hands, okay? What I want to point out here, right here at load, right before you start bringing your hands, is how horizontal your bat already is. Okay, it's almost laid down flat. I don't know if that's 20 degrees or whatever the case may be, but you're starting flat. If you start flat, you're going to swing flat and end flat. Okay? The reason you're flat, or some of the reasons you're flat, is your hand position, obviously, because your hands have control of the bat, and your grip, I believe, is keeping you from getting to a proper leg position. Okay, so there we are again at load. Okay, so here's Matt Antonelli. He is an ex-Major League Baseball player. He is a great hitting instructor. He's got video all over YouTube. I suggest you watch as much of his stuff as you can on all his topics. He has great leg kick drills, body movement, hand movement. You know, he's got all sorts of information out there for young hitters to take a look at. But take a look at his bat. He's much more vertical. Now all he has to do when he's ready to launch is take the bat rearward. Okay? Straight back and down on a vertical or Ferris wheel plane versus a merry-go-round plane. Okay? Horizontal is going to put you on a horizontal plane throughout your swing. You want to be on a vertical or more vertical plane. Okay? So let's just roll his entire swing here so you can get a look at everything he's doing. This video he's doing here is spine angle in the swing. I haven't looked at yours too closely yet, but we will. It appears in the video here that you've got good spine angle in the swing. So we'll look at that further on your other swings, but just take a look at Matt here and how he looks. And I would suggest grabbing a wiffle ball bat, having this video out, and just trying to mimic this very slowly until you can get it up to speed. Along with the snap drill. And see what changes you can make there. Now I'll roll your video from load to swing, and you can see how you initiate your swing. You can see right there, your initial movements are almost completely horizontal. Okay? So therein lies the importance, and that's why I put so much emphasis on this snap drill and laser drill. If you don't initiate your swing correctly, you don't have a fighting chance to swing correctly. Okay? They go hand in hand. So again, I can't stress this point enough, and if I overstress it, I apologize. But this is very critical for all of our hitters to be aware of, gain knowledge about, talk to as many people as they can, and set about a path to fix that for their own benefit in the game of baseball, okay? Okay, now let's get to casting and a little bit about a direct path to the baseball. If you look at where you're at right here in the swing, you're going to see right here that you're not quite straight yet, but you're almost straight right there before contact. Okay. You will see that your triangle is considerably less than 90 degrees. And on certain pitches, that's going to happen. But a pitch this close to the middle and not high or low in the zone, a pitch this close to middle, you should really be right close to the 90 degrees at this point in time in your swing. And the reason this is happening is this horizontal rotational flat swing that's initiated by not doing the snap drill correctly, and to an extent, I don't know how much, but the way you're gripping the bat. So this is forcing you to cast the bat, which makes you rotational, and get your bat off plane, and will send the ball here if you're not on the correct plane. So right here at this point in the swing, when you should be reaching the power V with not having rolled the hands over yet, if you concentrate on this area here, your right hand and wrist are just a blur, and it looks like your left hand is over your right hand. But your right hand is moving so fast right there from your grip and rolling it over because of how you grip the bat, that it's a blur right there and you can't see it, but you're crossed over. A lot of people and most elite hitters that attack the ball in the proper direction are going to get into a proper power V, and at this point haven't broken or crossed their wrists at this point in time, okay? But again, your grip is causing that. That's not something I don't think that you're telling yourself to do. You're doing it as a product of how you're holding the bat, okay? So on the same topic of, rolling the wrists and how it affects your bat, I want you to see right here, if you look at this shot right here, you can see in here a little bit of blur, but if you take that blur and you draw a circle around the top of it, you can see that your bat started out very rotational, but then your wrists and the movement of your wrists made the bat go from this position to having a little bit of curve on it in this direction. Okay, you'll see you've got a little curve in your swing. From this point forward, you even go more horizontal in your swing. Okay, so let me see if I can step this video back so it's something you can see. It's kind of hard to see it because it doesn't catch every single frame when we're filming it, but I really want to highlight the fact that you've got two things in your swing that are creating a horizontal swing path, and that's the snap drill and the way you hold the bat and the way it moves your wrists throughout, and especially at the end of your swing. Okay? And from this point forward in your swing, I just want to make note of another thing that shows us how rotational you are horizontally, is watch your finish from here till the end. Okay? You are generating power when you swing. You're using your body to gain momentum, twist, torque, and you generate a lot of power. So as soon as you finish the swing right there all the way, look how your body recoils. It comes back the same direction that it was traveling. Boom, and then you come right back where you came from. When you're traveling horizontally, you're going to come right back to where you came from. And then you maintain balance okay, but you can tell how hard your body is working to maintain balance there, because people have told you maintain balance in your swing, right? So as you work to maintain balance, you have to bring the bat back like this, and then right in this position here, you're trying to maintain your balance, okay? So here we have Sawyer mocked up in the opposite frame here. And I just want you to see how he deals with balance and where his bat goes when he's done swinging. You see how his body does not struggle to maintain balance because he's going directly to the ball and then up and over. Okay, now I know that you've been told and heard from plenty of coaches about the finish. I remember the first time that we got in the cages that we talked about how to finish. And the point I want to make about that is it's all about going directly to the ball on a straight line and being linear to the pitch, okay? If you have a rotational swing, you'll never be able to finish correctly. So there's no sense in studying how you finish until you master the snap drill and pull at the ball and have a more linear swing towards the ball, okay? So as you see on the left here, if you're more rotational, okay, or even you can make that flatter, but if you're rotational versus coming right at the ball and then back up and over, you're not going to finish correctly and struggle with your balance. Okay, so here we are. I just got a couple more things to show you on this particular view, and then I'm going to roll you with some other professional hitters and other hitters and take a look at some things. But just to back up here, we've got a close to middle pitch, middle outer pitch, okay? And yes, if you watch video of major league players, you're going to see major league players pulling this pitch, okay? And the points I'm going to make, you can easily say that that contrasts it, and that's not right. But my point that I really want to stress here is a majority of your hits, because you're not snap drilling correctly and taking a direct path to the ball, it's making it difficult for you to hit the ball that way, okay? So again, when you got a 95-mile-an-hour fastball coming at you, you're not always going to hit the ball the direction it's supposed to go. But in the practice setting, once you master the snap drill and taking a direct line to the ball and master the laser drill, in a practice setting, you should always practice it that way. That's how you build muscle memory to put the correct swing on the ball. If you go into a game and you haven't mastered this, it's not going to be something you can ever do because you've not done it and practiced it thousands of times, okay? So let's take a look at some contrast hitters and see what they do with this ball. Okay, so here we have you mocked up with Aaron Judge. It's a very similar pitch. His might be an inch, maybe 2 inches further outside. And the thing I would like to point out to you is you practice after you master the snap drill and a direct path to the ball, is that for Aaron to hit this ball to the opposite field, his bat head cannot be ahead of his hands at contact. To hit the ball here, your bat head is ahead of your hands. The other factor is that it's not a flush contact situation. You're hitting it off the lower or the bottom half of the bat, but also the bat head is ahead of your hands, okay? When practicing front toss, off a tee, soft toss, anything other than top velocity pitching or live pitching, you should always practice proper contact for where the pitch is. That's how you, again, gain the muscle memory to do it in a game. You want to train so hard and do reps so many times that you're not thinking about it when you're in the batter's box in a live game. I know you've heard that a million times, but you have to put the correct swing on a ball in practice hundreds and hundreds of times to gain that unconscious reactionary movement of all your hitting mechanics, okay? So as we roll Aaron's video, you can see the flight path and trajectory of this ball. And this was a home run. This film was taken from a compilation of his home runs. Okay. He's able to do that because he's practiced that movement in that positioning of his bat head and in his swing in relationship to his hands thousands of times, okay? And as you can see, his direct path to the ball is rearward and down and to it. There's no rotational or horizontal movements to his swing. So let's sync you guys up and roll you here. If you look at the upper portion of your swing and how your bat works, just compare it to what Aaron looks like right there. And then right here, because it's an outside pitch, you can see Aaron comes out of his 90 earlier than he would on a middle or an inside pitch. But you can see he gets to his power V right there. And he's aimed right at or just past the pitcher, parallel to the ground with his power V. But just look at his hands, look at his path, the way he moves his 90. He's taken all non-essential wasted movement out of his swing. He's simply loaded, turns the 90, drops the bat rearward, if you put a laser on the knob of his bat, that laser's cutting right through the ball. He's attacking the ball with his hands, is what you hear a lot of people say. This is what they're talking about. He's taken a direct path to the ball. What he's not doing is becoming rotational because of how he starts his bat and then coming around it and dumping it to the third baseman. Okay? So again, this is not difficult to fix. If you were to master the snap drill, as I said in the intro, you're going to be a better hitter right now just by mastering the snap drill and attacking the ball directly. And the other thing that's going to help you with, and I don't think we've touched on it much in practice yet, but once you gain a mechanically correct swing, then you can start working on other things. And one of those other things is time to impact. Okay, if you go direct to the ball, and we're talking fractions of seconds, and they all count, but you're going to decrease your time to impact. If you decrease your time to impact, you can sit back and swing later in the at-bat versus earlier in the at-bat, and that gives you more time to recognize the pitch. So here you are mocked up with Mike Trout. And let's just roll these. Mike's got a pitch. It's probably a little closer to middle than yours, but it's very, very similar. His might be an inch, maybe two towards the outside of the plate at contact there. You can see it's probably a very, very similar pitch. And he does not take this pitch to right field. Okay, but you can see that his direct path and his vertical swing plane being on the Ferris wheel versus the merry-go-round, which Mike does probably more so than a lot of hitters in baseball. you can see that he smacks a home run. It looks to be in the left field gap in that direction over the fence, okay? I want you to watch his left shoulder and how he sends that back very forcefully, okay? Something a hitter should feel is the falling off the cliff sensation that they've sent that, because they've sent that shoulder back so hard. And Mike looks as good as anybody else at that. That's how you're going to get proper extension in your power V. If you're not moving that shoulder back, it's not allowing your bat to come up and your arms into the power V position to get maximum bat whip. And this is another reason why I know you're not hitting the ball as hard as you possibly can, just based on this look. But if we look at your swing, you are bringing that shoulder back quite a ways. But what happens to you, again, right here, because your swing is rotational and you have that thing with your wrists and your grip on your bat, is you've got your shoulder going this way, yet your bat is going this way. And you've got two different forces at work there. You've got one thing going one way and another thing going a different way. Okay, so this is just another explanation of the topic that we touched on earlier, but you know, I want you to be keenly aware of this and you know, see how it looks. See, your hands are, and your bat and everything is totally rotational, yet you're trying to pull your shoulder rearward. So again, that all that's going to get fixed when you master the snap drill and learn to attack a ball directly, okay? So the last thing I think from this angle I want to touch on, at least for now, actually I want to show you one more thing real quick, but I want to talk about your feet and how starting with your left foot open like that can affect you, okay? You don't do it every swing, but you do it sometimes. And what we know about swings is you want to build a consistent swing, the same thing every time. And yes, in a live game, different situations, different pitches, being fooled and then having to catch back up, all that stuff affects even the elite players at times. But for the most part, elite swingers, they do everything the same, and all they change is how they attack the ball directionally with the snap drill, okay? But if we take a look at this video, my point is that sometimes when you lift the foot and you move it forward across the plate, it affects where you land it sometimes, okay? That's my biggest pet peeve with the kids that do this, okay? I don't know where it originates from. A lot of people and a lot of the major leaguers and elite swingers that do it, I've heard them say it helps them see the ball. It opens them up so that they can adjust their head to have a better look at the ball. And by all means, I'm all for that. But when this affects where you land that foot, if you land it further inside, now you've got to come around it. It makes you more rotational, and we're trying to fight the horizontal rotational swing. But if you are even more closed off because you land your foot by the plate, which sometimes you do, it's only making you more rotational. So if you can get that consistent, more stable, more balance in your in your lower half, by all means, keep doing it if that's what you like to do. But as we look at your swing and your feet in relationship to your head, okay, you are capable of having that same view that you do here as you do when the foot's down, okay? So you've just shown us that your view of the ball is not changed or is no different than foot open, foot closed. You've just demonstrated here that the view of the ball is the same regardless. So in my opinion, and yes, this is minutia, I understand, the more movement that you have in your swing, the more things your brain is thinking about and has to accommodate in the timing of your swing, and affects your time to impact, your balance, your direction, and all of these things. That's why I'm a big fan of just lining up in the box with your feet parallel to the plate. You get there anyway, so why add something else, okay? So what I will tell you, and I don't know if this is why you do this, but it's clear from watching Nelson Cruz's tape and other people that do this, it's purely, well, it's part visual, but it's also a timing mechanism, okay? You'll see that when Nelson Cruz starts his inward movement with his foot, it's before the pitcher has released the ball. He's not doing it to get to the point where he's going to take an inside or outside pitch and he's more open or more closed. He doesn't know where the pitch is going when he gets that left foot down right here, like you have down right now, okay? He is making that move before or during the pitcher's release of the ball, okay? And I don't honestly know how you do it. I'm obviously only 12 feet away from you here, so you don't have time to do everything you do like you would do it against live pitching. But I'm just giving you information on what I see on elite hitters do. And if you like this move, again, I'm not against it. I would just want you to understand everything about it. Okay? But clearly, based on the video evidence, when you move your leg this direction, that's opposite of how you're trying to attack the ball. So if you get too far off balance or out of position from that movement, it's affecting your swing, it's affecting your consistency, it's affecting where and how you hit the ball, it's affecting your batting average, it's affecting your overall goal of driving the ball from gap to gap at 18 to 22 degrees upward plane. And it's not common in youth hitters. I mean, don't take any of this the wrong way, but if you're going to do it, understand what you're doing, why you're doing, is it the best thing for you? And as I'll tell any hitter, you don't know what's best for you until you've tried everything. And I don't mean tried it once, okay? If you adopt a more quiet swing where you're not moving and you practice it 5 times, you will not know whether that's better for you or not. You have to do it 100 times before you start to get the feel for it, okay? So that's why, practice and practice and practice is so important. I am all for tweaking swings. Try this, try that. Get get down what's good for you, and you don't know until you try. Just again, if something's uncomfortable, it's because you haven't done it. So do it and then compare and contrast at that point in time and see what's better for you. Okay? So as far as this angle, that's enough on the leg kick right there. So here I've got a line that's attached to the end of your bat that's going to essentially show you your swing plane, how the bat enters the zone, you know, where it's at when you're finishing your swing. The first thing to recognize here is your first initial movement, and it's only the first couple inches of your swing. It's very minute, but as you can see, you kind of have a little back down, and then it goes horizontal. Okay? If your bat was up here in a proper leg position, in a proper pre-pitch position, what that is going to look like is the bat simply dropping rearward. Okay, you're going to get more of a movement like that. Okay? As we roll this, you're going to see, I want you to concentrate right here. Look at the upward trajectory right here. Again, we've already covered that, but that's further evidence of what your wrists are doing to the bat right there. Okay? So let's just roll it. Let you look at it. So here we got you mocked up with Sawyer, and here's his kite tail, and yes, this is an inside pitch, and you're going to be more on a vertical plane on an inside pitch, so I understand the difference in the kite tails for that reason. But if you also look at the finishing of it, where it goes and how it looks, okay? But if you look at the leg position in his bat at load, just watch the bat as it begins, okay? There's just a tad bit of lateral movement there, but it essentially is just yanked into the hitting zone directly at the ball and comes right back up and over him, okay? You'll see this portion here, or the tail end of the kite, is much straighter. It doesn't pan out like yours does. So just some stuff to keep in mind. Okay, after watching this part of your lesson here, before we go to the other view, I want to throw in a couple more really quick things. You can see you guys are both at contact here. And again, because of the snap drill, but also the point I'd like to make here is not maintaining the 90 and casting your hands and almost arm barring here and losing the 90. I want you to see what that looks like in a couple of different areas here. So up here, is where Aaron's left elbow is, okay? Your left elbow is a little bit lower, closer to your sternum. Your left shoulder's not as far back as Aaron's is, okay? So when you cast, this is what you get. When you don't maintain the 90, you cannot take a direct path to the ball, again, because it's pushing your swing rotational, okay? So I'm going to roll Aaron's tape and just look. At his movements here. So he's maintaining 90. And as you can see, he's got an absolutely perfect 90 right there at contact. And yours is, I venture to guess, 60%, give or take, maybe 70%. But you can see it's considerably less because you're casting your hands and losing the triangle. So again, the fix for it's the stuff we've already been talking about, and it's correcting and mastering the snap drill, hands directly to the ball, a more linear path to the ball, and maintaining your 90 and revisiting your grip. So, but those are some other things I wanted to point out about that swing in comparison to Aaron there. And I promise this is the last thing before we go to the other view, but I want you to look at your head there. You do have it laid over a little bit, not a lot, but it looks like you kind of got it cocked to the right and laid over just a hair. Whereas you can see Aaron's is just a hair more upright. So just something to think about when you're tweaking your swing and looking at all your mechanics. Just look at all the other elite hitters and how they do it and how you look, and take that into the cages with you. Okay, here we are with what we call the front view. Let's roll this. Let you drink it in. Okay, so let's break this down here. So on the website, on the features page, I believe, if I don't have it up, I'll get it up, but I think I put it on there somewhere in the features page. I have a video talking about the trigger drill and what Manny Ramirez, how he practices the trigger drill. The first video I showed you of Mark Antonelli, he's doing the 10 toes trigger drill. That's where you put your feet and you point your toes at the pitcher, and then you turn your body backwards, which gives you even more stretch than you're supposed to have in your swing. But you do it for the sensation of gaining that stretch and what it feels like. But my main point right now is when you have fully loaded and then you start to go, that's what I call the trigger, okay? Just so that me and you are on the same page here. When you begin to move your hands towards the ball, that's what I call the trigger, okay? And this is a picture of you at trigger, okay? This is right where you start moving your hands. And it's hard to see from just a line, but at this point in time, your bat is fairly flat behind you in this direction, okay, like that, versus your hands being back here and the bat being like that, or, you know, with less of it like that. So the lines kind of look the same there, but look at that closely and you can see what I'm talking about there. But as you start to trigger, your bat gets even flatter, okay? And now you're legging the bat, but the bat being flat changes the plane the bat's on. So just look at that. So let's talk a little bit about your load here. If I just play this, let you look at it. Look at your loading here, okay? You're moving your right elbow and your shoulder, but you're really just raising them and bringing it more behind you, okay? You can see that you're not building stretch in the rubber band between these 2 points, okay? All you're doing is going this way with your body and your arms too, but you're not really creating that separation and stretching of the rubber band between your left hip and your right shoulder. I'm going to tell you that the proper way to do that is to learn how to load the 90. I don't necessarily have a great way of showing you with these videos what I'm talking about. I will try to. I would really like to visit this topic with you in practice in the cage and show you what I'm talking about. But let me try to bring some other video in here and show you what I'm talking about, okay? So let's take a look at Sawyer's swing here. And what I want to point out too is he's loading the 90. He's loading with the 90. He's not changing his triangle. He's moving his triangle as a whole with his right elbow and shoulder rearward. Okay? Gaining that stretch, closing off a little bit. Okay, you can see he closes even more here with his right side or his left side. He's coming in with this, okay, and out with that. He's just simply loading the 90. He's not going just rearward with his hands or body. There's an element of twist in your upper torso there. Okay, if you do not do that, you're forced to get that power from somewhere else, and that's the rub here. It creates the rotational type of feel to get that power. So if you don't get that power correctly, again, it's just one more thing that's going to throw us rotationally. Okay, so again, I'd like to visit this in the box with you and see if we can find something more comfortable. But you know, for my sake of understanding it and being able to repeat it to all of our hitters, I like to use the words load the 90. Okay. And you can also see a little bit of the stepping away too. And again, everybody does this differently. You just have to find out what's going to work best for you through trial and error. But as Sawyer loads it, you can see he's also stepping away from it. You know, it's a combination of things, you know, which is what probably most hitters do. But you can separate those out, or even like Albert Pujols does, you can be, your ready position is loaded. All he does is swing from there. He doesn't twist or rotate anything more. He's got such an aggressive stance, both with his feet, legs, hands, arms, that he just basically unwinds and cranks the ball. So, but look at the combination and the sequence in timing of that movement, okay? And that's how you're going to see, you know, elite hitters in the major leagues who are very well accomplished. They're going to move that very, they're going to move in a very similar way there. So as you can see here, you're kind of getting a lot of pull from the front half of your body there. Okay, your ready position here, you start to load, and away you go. Okay, so let's look at and gauge your rearward movement. I personally like minimal to no rearward movement in the pitch. Again, it comes back to reasons I've already explained. The least amount of movement you have in your swing, the less activity you have in your brain telling your body what to do, okay? It's just like juggling. The more balls you get up in the air, the harder it gets, okay? The less moving parts, the easier they are to manage. Now, that's not to say that elite hitters in the major leagues do not have rearward movement. Some of them do. In fact, we'll take a look at it here, but I believe Nelson Cruz has a little bit. It's just done a little bit differently. So if you start here and you come here, okay, the first thing to note is that you know your slant's a little bit rearward at this point in time, but you've taken your head back 3/4 of the width of your head at this point in time, and your body, you know, probably at least half to 3/4 the distance from where it started, okay? So you're moving your head, which is going to change you how you view what the pitcher's doing, okay? And that, you know, that may affect hitters differently, but in my point of view, you know, how you see the ball is so very important. And I kind of liken this to a sniper. You know, if a sniper is taking a shot 1,000 yards downrange and he's got his eye glued to his scope, is he going to move his head back and forth or front to back? No, he's going to have it completely still because his vision on his target is so important. Okay, so again, a little bit of rearward movement, no big deal. What I suggest, just like I did earlier, is try something different. I've got drills that take, you know, take you 2 seconds to try them, see how it feels, and then do them over and over again until you get used to them and see if that changes your ability to hit the pitch. But remember, you know, hitting is not easy, okay? The less you do pre-pitch leaves you in a position to have the best time to impact and will make everything more consistent in your swing and more duplicatable. So that's, again, whenever you move, are you moving the same way every time? I don't know. I haven't compared clip to clip on these swings. I haven't watched you close enough day to day to week to month. But anytime you move anything, you open yourself up to inconsistencies or not doing it the same over and over again. So if you eliminate movement, there's less things that can go wrong in a swing. So That's my opinion on that whole matter. Okay, let's get you mocked up here with Nelson. And I just want to discuss some of these points we've covered and let you see some of the differences here. Okay, so he starts his swing. He brings this foot in, his left foot. So here you both are after you've lifted the foot, brought it in, and touched down with the foot. And the first thing that I want to point out, your foot is literally, if not touching, less than an inch away from the plate. Okay, now you're more closed off, and your direction of travel is more towards the second baseman than the pitcher. Something I learned early in baseball, and again, people do it differently and adhere to different, mechanics and theories in hitting. But, I grew up, when Ken Griffey Jr. was playing, and one of the things I heard him say is that he lines up in the box, he takes a practice swing, or he taps the opposite side of the plate. When you get it down and you've done it a bazillion times, you can shorten it, but he taps the outer front corner of the plate. That way he knows he's in a position to hit an outside pitch. And when he steps, he pretends in his head, to get the feeling of it, he's stepping through the chest of the pitcher. He's stepping at his target. Okay? Again, hitting is a linear process. We've already talked about that. You need to go at the pitch. You don't need to go to the left of the pitch, to the right of the pitch. Linear means right at your target, okay? And when you step here, your target is not the pitch. To get on target with the pitch, you have to become rotational, okay? You have to move something to accommodate or to compensate for that. So when we talk about consistency, on this pitch, you're here. The next pitch, you'll be back there. That is what gives somebody inconsistencies in their swing, is different body movements for different pitches. Now, if you are a super athlete and you have killer reaction time, awareness, pitch recognition, yes, some people, when they're attacking an outside pitch, will step a little bit further inside or towards the plate, or if it's an outside pitch, you can step further outside. But when you have a 95 mile an hour fastball coming at you, not a 60 mile an hour fastball to 65 like we will in 14U, it's a whole different ball game. And that's why we're trying to teach elite techniques to become elite hitters at such an early age. You guys are very fortunate to be, consuming some of this information, so you have time to do something about it as you progress in baseball this year, next year, just over the course of time. But in the vein of being consistent, most major league hitters are going to do their leg kick and put their foot down in the same place every time, and they will compensate for the height of the pitch or how inside or outside the pitch is by how they attack it and come directly to it. Okay? That's the difference. So essentially putting your foot down inside, you're not doing this because of the location of the pitch. You're doing it because there's inconsistency in your movements. Okay? So again, finding a swing with the least amount of movement is, that's why I believe it's so very important. So the next thing I want to look at here is we've already discussed that you have rearward movement in your load in your swing, okay? The next thing to point out in that vein is if I draw a line from your right hip socket to your knee, which follows your femur, and then from your knee to your ankle, you can see that you have outward flexation, okay? It's outward. If you look at Nelson's, he might not be flexed inward as many of as some hitters, and I'll show you a couple of different guys and how their legs look here, but he's at least not stretched out or flexed out as far as you are at this point in time, and has more of a solid load on his back hip going the right direction, okay? But also you can see how he's carrying, you can see in the shadows on his pants here, he's kind of got his left leg scrunched up a little bit there to compensate for that as well. So if you just watch the way he moves his hips, you can see he's got a downward movement, okay? Down, and then hips coming forward, okay? He's not just simply picking up and rolling everything forward just like a pitcher does. He becomes vertical, then he comes down into the mound and uses that energy he's accumulated to then go directly at the plate, okay? That's kind of what is happening here with Nelson's swing. He's up, and then he's kind of scrunching and then sending his energy this way, okay? What a lot of our players are doing with their leg kick and their legs in the swing is they're simply moving back and coming forward, back, forward, back, forward. They're not really getting that proper feel of moving downward, which helps in attacking the ball, scrunch the energy, and then send it out at the pitch, okay? You can see you're just, again, you're linear here versus downward and scrunch and go. And I know that in the other portions of your swing, we want you to be linear, but this is a power gathering move here, okay? When you hit the ball, you want to instantly explode, and this is one of the steps along with the proper load that's building. You're getting power from this stuff when you do it right. You're getting tension and torque and all the things you need to do to hit the ball with as much exit velocity as you can. So again, somebody's not going to look at your leg kick and go, oh, wow, that's screwed up. The real question is, can we tweak a few things and have you understand the concepts to gain that power, to help you hit the ball harder and farther, okay? And it's a minute detail, I understand, but, just something to think about. You can see right here, you go from here and then you leap forward, okay? There's no downward compression and then rebound leap right there, okay? Okay, so here's also just because of your grip and what it does to your bat, I just want to point this out, hopefully briefly. You can see that at his power V, he's got a little, his wrists have turned more than maybe some people at this point in the swing. I mean, only a fraction. But if you look at his power V, like so, you can see he's parallel to the ground right at the pitcher right there. So, but the point I want to make is he does have a little roll in his swing, but here's what I want to point out. Nelson Cruz is so big and so strong, he oftentimes, he varies it. Sometimes he'll use batting gloves, sometimes he won't. Sometimes he'll put a half inch, maybe an inch gap in between his bottom and top hand. If you look at his grip, he has room in between his hands, which nobody teaches that, okay? But there have been some hitters that have perfected that and used that method. What it does is they are so strong, they can do it without making it affect their swing path and swing plane and things of that nature, okay? So when I talk about your wrists and how it affects your bat, it's different. There is a difference because these guys are, 6'4", 230 pounds in solid muscle, okay? A stronger player, Brett Boone had his hands closed off and had a firm grip on his bat, and he was a smaller guy, but he had huge forearms. In fact, he was a known steroid user. So again, you're going to see people do things on film if you watch enough that may contrast what we're talking about. But I want you to understand, if you're going to let your grip affect how you control the bat, the difference is these guys are bigger, stronger, and been doing it for years and years. Okay, that's some of the difference. So I just wanted to point that little. Okay, so we are rounding the corner and heading towards the finish line here on your lesson. I just wanted to pull Albert Pujols out here. You know, having a quiet swing, I think, is ultimately important, and Albert's the poster child for staying quiet in the swing. He moves nothing. He simply sends the ball over the fence. That's what he does. So let's evaluate. Actually, I'm just going to roll it, let you look at his swing. Okay. I think there's a few drills that are great for practicing becoming proficient at this, but I believe it's highly important to practice them anyway. Even if you have a leg kick, you should always practice your trigger and your quickness and your time to impact. And you should always take your legs out of the swing and just practice your upper body. Isolate everything you do from the waist up when you practice, and that gets you better at the time to impact and keeps you quieter, and it helps you practice that. But let's take a look at some of the differences here between Albert and some other players we've seen here, and maybe what you're doing. Okay, so here's Albert's rear leg. You can see he's got a little inward flexation. And again, this is his ready position and his trigger position. The ready position is what I call the position you're at right before you load. That's the position you should be in before the pitcher even makes any movements. But you can see he's got inward flexation. You can see that his left leg flexation is equal and opposite to his right leg flexation. That's how you can tell if a player's balanced. Okay, if you're not balanced, then one leg's going to be doing something different than the other. Okay, so at this point in time, all he does is lifts up his left heel, puts his left heel back down, torques his lower half, and smashes the ball. Okay, left heel up, left heel down, torque, boom. Moves his triangle, lays his bat back rearward, pulls his hands through the swing, smashes the ball, gets to the power V, follows through upward because he's striking the ball in a linear fashion. He's falling off the cliff rearward by lunging his left shoulder backwards, all without moving his torso any significant amount forward or rearward. Here he is again at load and at ready position. Again, they're both the same with him. They don't change. He's already got the tension that he needs from left hip to right shoulder, but when he twists his lower half, that gives him more tension there, right? So again, there's many ways to do the load. We talked about that. But he gets a little bit more when he starts to turn there, right? So he gets a little bit more tension. But look at his head in the forward to backward, or from the catcher to the pitcher direction of his torso. Nothing changes. Not a darn thing. Albert Pujols is one of the greatest hitters to live. He was a plus 300 hitter, 40 home run guy for years until he started to age and his feet and legs started giving him trouble. But when he was in his prime, there was nobody better. Maybe Barry Bonds, maybe a guy or two here were on the same plane with him, but he was as good as the next guy. Okay. Now, I'm not showing you this to say you need to go out and start practicing this, immediately, and you need to get to this, and you're not going to be an accomplished baseball player if you don't do this. What I want it to get across to you is, experiment with different variances of movement in your swing. Try to eliminate things, you know, try to change things, try to tweak things, and try it a lot. Don't just try it once and give it up. You know, you don't know until you try different things what's going to work best for you, like I said before. So I just want this to sink in, and you know, this is one extreme end of the scale as far as staying quiet. There's no more staying, he can't stay any more quiet than he is here, okay? So just balance this with what you're doing and your movements and try to find something that works. But I can tell you, in general, the quieter you are, the more consistent you're going to be. You're going to be more ready to attack. You know, again, all Albert has to do is launch, and that's all he has to do. He doesn't have to think about how far he's leaning back, how far he's moving his head, where he's moving his hands. All Albert has in his head right now is see ball, hit ball, see ball, hit ball. He doesn't have to compensate from overstepping with his left foot somewhere. You know, he doesn't have to move back forward, and what's going to lead that movement? Is it going to be the torso, the hip, or the leg that's going to lead me back up into the box towards the pitch? His brain doesn't think about that. All Albert Pujols thinks about is see ball, hit ball. Okay, so that's something I really want you to give some thought to. So, okay, so let's discuss casting your bat or your hands in the swing. I really hope you took the time to watch the videos. Again, without watching the videos, a lot of this stuff's going to fall on deaf ears, or you're not going to be able to comprehend it the way it's intended to be comprehended. You're not going to be able to run it through your computer or your brain and spit out the changes you need to make to get going in the right direction. But if we take a look here at casting, which is all over our website, here we go right here. It starts with moving the bat outward, but this here, I just want everybody to recognize and see it in themselves, in each other. But right there, there's going to be flatness. Your elbows are going to be over each other. Your hands and arms, because you're stopping your elbows there and your arm barring and you're getting your arms straight, your hands and arm, your bat and hands have nowhere to go but outward. If you are going to cast your hands flat out, you're not going to go directly to the ball. Your bat and hands are not and can't, it's physically impossible to attack the ball correctly when you're casting, okay? So here you are at the beginning of the swing, and you're starting to arm bar right there. You're straightening out your left arm instead of maintaining the 90 in the triangle. Okay, your bat, it's hard to see, and it is slight. It's not, you know, a huge movement, but your bat is moving, your hands are moving away from you, out towards the front of you, right there. That movement right there is away from you. Not exclusively away from you, but it shouldn't be anywhere or even close to away from you, okay? So this is the point in the swing where you're supposed to be at your power V. As we take these lines away, you can see that you are got your elbow sucked into you a little bit, and this is all already started to turn over on you, okay? And personally, and I suggest, you know, talk to whoever you want to in baseball, get their opinion on it. I believe that's all due to your grip right there. So, but you're turning over there. And as we roll it, see how hard from here to here that rollover is, right? There is rollover in the swing. If you watch Hank Aaron's swing, one of the best hitters in baseball, he's got it. But he he gets there differently. Everything before that's totally different, and that's more of the strength thing I was talking about. And hitters can roll the wrists. That's actually was taught when I was in youth baseball. That was taught to be the source of the power. But in your case, it's actually keeping you from extending correctly and changing the path of your bat. So, and then as we looked in the other video, it's sending you rotational so that you're falling off the cliff sensation doesn't happen, and then you snap the bat right back where it came from. You can see how rotational you are right there. You come all the way around yourself and then back. So just some notes. You know, the good things here that your legs do, you look really good there. And again, like I explained to you earlier, you are thrusting your shoulder backwards. It's just that your bat's not letting you do it and make it look correct. That's the only difference. But conceptually, your timing of all this, your sequence of all this looks really, really good. Okay. So, you know, these are the things I see you doing that are good, and we contrast with this with the mechanical issues we have, and this is why I'm so confident, Kyle, that you know, not just you but all of our players, you know, they're just a few adjustments away from really improving their swings, which is going to improve their outcomes, their averages, their exit velocity, all the things that we look at on the hit tracks, you know, are things that none of our guys are far away from that. It's just a matter of knowing what you want to and need to concentrate on to improve yourself. So I'm hoping that these videos help you and the other guys by seeing this stuff. But I want to point out it's not going to help without the knowledge of why you're doing it, you know, and getting into some of these videos and studying baseball. You know, if these videos aren't for you, you know, you get it somewhere else. So, but, you know, if your bat right here was on a vertical plane, if you were on the Ferris wheel and not the merry-go-round, you would look like any major league hitter with right there with what you're doing with your leg and how you're moving your back shoulder. You'd look just like Aaron Judge. You'd look just like Mike Trout. So I really wanted to get that across to you. This, you know, it can sound like there's a lot of things going on and you know, the sky's falling, you know, it's not that kind of thing. I would tell you, and I'm going to explain this to you with the little video here at the end, but if you're going to improve at baseball, like we talked about earlier, you're going to look for, you're going to seek, you're going to hunt for your weaknesses. If you want to move forward and grow from it, you're going to try to identify aggressively, openly, with an open mind, what your weaknesses are. And at that point in time, some people can get frustrated. I tell you, do not get frustrated by looking at this stuff. This gives you a roadmap of what you need to do to get better. And if you follow that roadmap, you are going to get better. You're going to improve yourself. You know, it's different for everybody. You know, we could see you at the perfect swing in a week. It might take a year, you know, or not a perfect swing. And I don't mean to say that wrong. With your perfect swing, the best you can be, okay? So, you know, keep all that in mind as you're working here. You know, I believe a player should be enthusiastic about finding out what he does wrong. That way he can fix it and become better. Okay? If you look at the home page of our saintsbaseball.club and you look at the sayings, the snippets from interviews with Theo Epstein, he believes that realizing your weaknesses is what the game's all about and that it's for the better. Okay? Now, why would a general manager with 2 World Series rings under his belt say that? There's got to be a reason. What is that reason? You know, do the math in your head. Dissect it. Why is he saying that? Because major leaguers on a day-to-day basis are doing this stuff and looking for their weaknesses to turn them into strengths. Okay? So again, engage all of our instructors, all of our coaches, the Diamond Sports coaches. If you have access to Kyle's high school coaches or your brother's high school coaches, see if you can get in front of them for 10 seconds and talk about things. You know, what's their opinion? You know, that's how you grow. That's how you learn. That's how you progress. So keep that in mind. Okay, so here we got you mocked up with Abram. And I will roll these so you can take it in. And rewatch it. But this just goes along to what I've been saying. You know, a lot of our kids are casting your hands, and I don't want you to feel like you're the only one and anything of that nature, but I wanted to more point out that, you know, all of you guys are one tweak or two away from just, you know, having better swings. After you improve your mechanics on all that stuff, the snap drill, the 9D, hands to the ball and all that, you know, there's still a lot of growth and exercising and practicing to do it becoming consistent. You know, just because you take a technically sound swing into the batter's box in a live game does not even come close to meaning that now you're going to crush everything. You've still got to master timing and strength and pitch recognition and all of these other things, you know, but that's kind of speaking to where I want, you know, where I want everybody to go and what them to realize is, you know, there's so much more work to be done in making you guys solid, consistent hitters. Until we get these mechanical things out of the way, there's, you know, not a whole lot of benefit in even working on anything else, you know. So I just wanted to show you this and let you know that, you know, it's a very common thing for youth hitters. There's no need to be ashamed of it or anything of that nature. You know, what should be done is awareness to it and how it affects your swing. If it affects your swing negatively, then what do we do to not do that and go from there? So alrighty, Kyle. So that concludes your swing. I'm going to attach the video of your raw swings so you can see them all in totality. Again, what I really want you to do while you're watching these things is keep track of the pitch location versus your flight path of your ball. Are you going gap to gap at, you know, 16 to 22 degrees? How often are you making flush, 100% flush contact versus being over or under the ball and getting more of a slice hit or a golfer's hit, they call that? Just take note of it. You know, how consistent are you at contact on pitches over the plate? That's something to be very aware of as a hitter and as you set about practicing. So I'll attach that video. I would really welcome your feedback on this. I'd really like to talk to you about it in depth so I can understand what you understand and comprehend. And it'll put us on a path going in the right direction. But also, again, I just want to say it one more time for the 100th time. Run this thing past as many people as you can, get their opinions, come back with a game plan, an action plan, a roadmap of what you need to be doing and where you're going. So I will run this other video and post this online for you, bud. Okay, so the gentleman on your screen on the left, that is JD Martinez. I just want to point out a few things here. JD hit 330 this year. He had a batting average of 330 for the 2018 season. He had 43 home runs. He had 130 RBIs, and he's a World Series champion, okay? So this guy's a very, very, very good player. You can't really do much better in 1 year's time. So I'm just pointing out who he is, what his stats are, so you know what he's accomplished this year in the game of baseball. And if you look in the circle, you're going to see he's got an iPad mounted up recording his swing, okay? What I really want to get across to everybody is JD analyzes every swing he takes all day, every day. In the when he's in the tunnel doing soft toss and tee work, he's recording. When he's out in the batting cage taking BP, he's recording. He's recording his swings and analyzing them swing by swing, day by day, and that's the results, along with other things and natural ability and all that stuff. It doesn't mean if you record your swings and you analyze yourself, you're going to hit like this. But my point is that he's gotten better because he knows himself, he knows his swing, he knows his mechanics, and he's visiting them every day to make sure he keeps them where they need to be or adjusts them if he gets out of whack. So just wanted to point out how important this is in the process of evaluating your player lessons and getting a game plan of where you need to go. So keep all this in mind as you're going through your lesson and figuring out what you're going to do about it. Okay. And here he is from the other side, filming himself. He films himself from all directions and analyzes it so he can see every twist, turn, move, how his hands work, his bat works, his elbows. He can get an idea and a feel for everything he's doing. But I also want to point out here, this drill that he's doing right here is very, very important for time to impact, for isolating the upper body, and make sure you have proper upper body swing mechanics. You'll see here that he's not leg kicking. He's swaying the body and getting momentum as part of the drill, but he's not picking up his feet. And that's so important on many levels, but this just tells you he's in the cage before a game. This guy does this every day or every other day. I don't know how often any of our hitters have done this drill, if ever, and if ever, how often. So you isolate your upper body. You just work on your, more or less, just your trigger and your upper body mechanics. You take your lower legs out of it. This helps improve your trigger and your upper body mechanics. So, just wanted to point out that drill. You got a Major League Baseball doing this in the cage on a daily or at least every other day basis. And, that's something that you should add to your at-home routines or practice routines, when we get together in the cage and you have time to work on stuff other than, the appointed lesson plan that day. So, but there's just an idea of, watching himself, critiquing himself, having the desire to become a better baseball player, you have to look inward at yourself and what you're doing so that you can tell where you need to go. It's plain and simple. So anyway, I just want to throw that in here, let you guys get a peek at this so that you had the knowledge of what some of the Major League Baseball players are doing on a day-to-day basis.
The triangle and the momentum being created back in here as the lower body leads the movement. You can see his back hip starting to extend and everything goes out in a direction, right? So he's able to twist this triangle, create tension with the upper and lower body, and let it out towards the pitcher rather than continue to pull the ball or hook it to the left, right? Really stay inside, behind, and underneath to create the nice trajectory that we want. This has been Sean Plouffe from Hitterish.com. Catch you next time.
I'm the realest one that's repping. Oh my God, if I die, I'm a legend. When they lay me down to rest, I know I was always repping. Oh my God, my whole life, my words been my greatest weapon. I know I.
All right, here we go.
Have a day where you can
Don't look up there. Okay? Relax. When I come back, you load and then kill it, okay? Okay, go. David. All right, go ahead.
Okay, Kyle, I'm adding this to the end of your lesson. I realize I forgot to draw some circles and squiggly lines here on this part of your swing here. So if we revisit this situation here about being flat, what I wanted to illustrate is when you get out to this portion of your swing, if you're flat there, you're not going to look like this. I did show it a little bit from the down the line view, the other view of you hit them, but it's easier to demonstrate from the side like this or the front view. So as you can see, if you maintain through the swing your triangle, and you're going to be at 90 all the way out here where you're flat here, okay? So that's just going along with the theme of maintaining your 90, but I wanted you to see visually the differences. Okay. You can see Aaron's left arm or the height of his elbow and shoulder are almost parallel with the ground at contact and right before the power V. If we draw a line on your left forearm, you are obviously a little bit more downward, aimed at the ground. Okay, so again, this is a symptom of casting. That's why it's such a very important topic. When you cast, it sends your bat rotational. It robs you from proper extension, takes your bat off path. It does so many things. So again, it's just speaking towards, you know, make a couple of simple adjustments to your swing, and you're going to be miles ahead. So anyway, I'm going to throw this on the end of your tape here so you can see it. I just wanted to make sure I didn't forget this view here. And again, if we take your power V, you'll see that you're pointed downward because you're more rotational and less extended there as well, where you can see that his Aaron's power V is straight at or out past the pitcher, parallel to the ground with full extension. So there you go, and that, I promise you, will conclude your lesson.